to Sakisizwe building donation Bodinas. So Autoplay, a groundbreaking production that marks Africa's first AI-generated opera. So today we have the privilege of speaking with Louise Coetzer, the visionary choreographer and director behind this innovative work. And as the founding artistic director of Darkroom Contemporary Dance Theatre, Louise has consistently pushed the boundaries of dance through interdisciplinary approaches, technological integration, and also immersive experiences. So with Autoplay premiere at the Baxter Theatre this March, we're eager to explore how this production challenges our understanding of performance art and also examines the complex relationships between human and technology. So good afternoon, Louise. How are you today?
Hi, afternoon. I'm good, thanks.
And thank you very much for speaking to us a little bit more about this play. So Autoplay is being described as Africa's first AI-generated opera. So could you just explain what this means by how artificial intelligence is integrated into the creative process?
Yes, so firstly, the work deals, as a theme, it deals with artificial intelligence. It speaks a lot to different philosophies and viewpoints around artificial intelligence and the impact it has on our lives currently. And then secondly, the work was developed through the use of artificial intelligence through an extensive research process of interaction with various artificial intelligence systems, which at times was used to design the structure of the work. At times it was used as inspiration for the choreography, the movement language of the work, and it is very strongly present as well in the sound score, which is at times also completely generative, where it was designed through different inputs put into these computer systems and then getting these variations of outputs from the sound score. So in a sense, the work is never quite the same. When we perform it, there's always randomized elements that are being put out by the computer systems we use in the live experience as well. So it makes for quite an interesting experience for the viewer.
And very interesting, because when you do speak about AI, it basically narrates with a lot of individuals, and it is also mentioned that two performances of the Autoplay will never be the same due to the generative AI processes. But taking that in account, how challenging was it to create the choreography as a piece with such unpredictable elements? Because when you do go on the internet, for instance, and using AI, it's not always truthful information that they're giving you. So it's easy to get fake information also, or They basically give you information that it's not even relevant to what it is that you're asking. So I would assume it was very challenging putting everything together.
Yes, so exactly as you say, the thing with these artificial intelligence systems, they are all kind of in training. They are all still constantly learning from us and from each other. So at the beginning of the process, the outputs that we received were really very basic, not really usable, not really interesting, very kind of predictable in a sense as well. And so that was not used. But as the process went on, so we spent a very, very extensive time really interacting with these different systems. And in that sense, they were being trained to think more the way we want them to, I guess. And so as the process continued on, the sort of outputs we were getting were much more refined or much more interesting or much more in line with the work I was trying to actually create. So that is definitely the first thing. And secondly, I suppose the thing is that we are using these computer systems in a way that they were not designed for. So we're using them for creating a theatrical performance. So that's not what they meant to be doing. But I guess that is where it becomes quite interesting, because as artists, we are then stepping into this role of using computers as our creative partners in the making process. And that's very interesting. It's definitely, in a way, uncharted territory. I believe that artists nowadays have all these new tools available, and that is what makes our work process so interesting now. We have all these tools that have never been around before, and we get to explore and experiment with them.
Definitely, and I can believe it's going to be quite interesting, because AI was made for maybe transcribing something or writing something, and you need to be very specific when you use AI. So it was never created for dancing. So how do the dancers adapt to these real-time changes? Because with AI, you need to be very specific what it is that you want. Otherwise, it's going to give you a lot of different scenarios.
Exactly. Yes. So the performance experience, I think, for the dancers is also very unique because they have to be so in the moment. They have to be so responsive to how the soundtrack changes at times. There's definitely sections where we kind of don't know how it's going to come out. Sometimes it comes out and it has a very strong beat, which is what dancers often need. They need like a time signature to give them the beat. And sometimes it comes out and there's no beat. There's just a drony or there's just a kind of abstract sound. So it's just like keeps them very awake and alive and focused during the performance, I think. And in terms of designing the choreography, it was very much inspired by the early AI art that we were seeing coming out, where some of sort of video and photographic imagery was very sophisticated and beautiful to look at, but often the hands, like they couldn't understand how to make the hands, and the feet were always kind of twisted and strange. So in a sense, there's this real surrealism that comes out of AI art, I find, and that sense of surrealism was carried along into the piece quite strongly as well.
And this is exactly why we can guarantee that each day is going to be a different performance.
Yes.
So Autoplay is also described as exploring the intersection between identity and autonomy, and also the digital landscape, as you just explained now. But what personal experiences or observations inspired you to examine these themes more a little bit in depth? Because like you said, it was a challenge with the feet and the hands.
Yeah, like it's just, I feel like we in such an interesting moment in time with all these new things kind of becoming so prominent. It's instantly part of the fabric of our lives. Like when AI popped up and became very prominent and popular about 18 months ago, suddenly everyone just accepted it and we all just integrated into our work and into our daily lives. But we're not really questioning what it means, like the future of where it's heading, the ethical considerations, the philosophical considerations. And so the work is sort of questioning all of that. It's kind of going, hold on, like what's happening here? What does it mean? And the work doesn't have necessarily presenting the audience with an answer, because I don't think that's the answer for it, but it is trying to open a conversation around it and to kind of question it a little bit and to prompt some deeper thought about what is actually going on with these systems that have instantly become part of our lives.
And very interesting that you touched a little bit more on that. As we know, we are in the fourth industrial revolution and technology is taking over because a lot of people are also losing their jobs because of technology. So your work often blends technology with traditional performing arts. But what unique creative opportunity does the AI offer to other technologies you've maybe worked with that doesn't really fit in to still remain or keep the authenticity of your work?
Yeah, I think that part of this sort of question that I'm asking with the work is how humanity remains present within this digital age we're living in and how we need to adapt to it, because like you say, it is a reality. We are in this revolution time. It's not going to change. It's just going to become more and more prominent in a sense. So it's questioning how we adapt to it. And it's also asking how we as creatives can make it work for us. Because for me, I find it's very, very interesting having these tools available to explore and to make my work something that hasn't been seen before. Because people love to say, oh, we like everything's been done before. We've seen everything. But I believe truly we haven't, because as artists now we have at our disposal all these tools that have never existed before. And it's the key to making artwork that is very, very unique and new and current and not having seen before.
And this is going to get a lot of people to actually go watch this production because you want to see how it plays out. But also, Louise, like these days you can actually, I can't sing, but I can use AI and then I sound like someone else. So
Yes.
it's easy to mimic someone else or fake
Yes.
someone else. But how does the collaboration between the human musicians that's part of the play and also AI generate the compositions functioning together during the performance?
Yes. So actually, I mean, in music, we maybe are not so aware, but technology has actually played a very, very big part in music for a long time, for much longer time than what AI has been around, especially in popular music. And so it's very interesting working with Bryden Bolton, who is one of the composers of the work, who works very often also with electronic music and very experimental approaches to how we can create sound using also computers in a sense. And then the other two composers, Njabulo Fungula and Inge Beckman, who also bring their unique take on it. So it's a very diverse sound score. It's very, very interesting how it all comes together. And then within that, Bryden is during the performance live using all these different systems to either modulate the sounds or to generate the sound or to impact the sound in certain ways. Same with Inge, who is the vocalist. The voice also becomes at times completely distorted or completely changed. And just the outcome is a very, very interesting and rich kind of sonic landscape that we create. And that is around how the work unfolds within that sonic landscape is, I think, where it becomes interesting.
And I can believe it's going to be interesting because, like you say, the sound, we all know how sound sounds when it gets distorted. So looking at Darkroom Contemporary is celebrating its 15th anniversary this year. But how does Autoplay represent the evolution of the artistic vision since founding the company? Because I know, like you've also mentioned now, you like to take risks, as it sounds to me. Mm-hmm. And also you like to keep up with the latest trends and try new things, which is very vital in the era that we are currently living in.
Yes, I believe so. And that's definitely a part of the ethos of Darkroom Contemporary and part of the reason why we founded the company 15 years ago, because I just felt like there needs to be a platform for work that is very much pushing boundaries and exploring avenues that haven't been explored before. So Autoplay is definitely a culmination of all the years of research in different technological areas. In a way, it's like a best of, like it's bringing together all of that knowledge that delved through my previous work with the company over 15 years, and it's sort of putting it all together. It's our most ambitious project because it is combining visual art, movement, sound, AI, and then the staging itself is also very unique. I won't give away too much about that because I think people must come and see it for themselves. Definitely, yes. It's a celebration of how far the company has come over 15 years. And it's very visually, I won't say overwhelming, but there's a lot to take in. So it's almost a piece you want to see more than once. Also just to see how it changes from performance to performance.
And the interesting thing is that every day it's going to be a different performance that you're seeing. So there's going to be things that you're like, oh, but I didn't see this last night. Exactly. So that's going to differ. What do you hope audience will take away from experiencing Autoplay, particularly regarding their relationship with technology in our everyday lives? Because as you know, art is a broad or extraordinary platform where people use various forms of art to express themselves. And people always also receive art differently depending from the view they're looking at. So you as the director, what is it that you want your audience or hope your audience takes away?
Absolutely. I think that's so true that everybody, especially with movement or live art performance, something that is not text-based, there is so much room for interpretation because it's not a literal representation of something. You can really take your own sort of understanding from it, but which I think is exactly how it should be. But with Autoplay, I think it's, like I said, it's not trying to give an answer to this conundrum or this question. It's more kind of asking people to think a little bit about it and prompting them to question what we are doing, how we are approaching this time that we're living in, and what our autonomy and our own free will, what has become of that within this time, and how do we hold on to that? Because ultimately we are, we have to keep to our humanity, we have to keep to our agency. That is one of the strongest human dignities that we have, is to have a free will. So it's questioning that, and it's just kind of prompting the audience to give it some thought and find their own conclusion and their own answer for it.
Because if we are not careful enough, AI can actually be very dangerous if you don't use it correctly. And it's important that we also share this message to our younger individuals, to our youth, because they go for the easiest route, and it's so easy to just write an essay via AI and so forth. So it can be dangerous, and it has consequences also. So, Louise, when and where is everything taking place, and how much does the tickets go for?
So, Autoplay is running from the 26th until the 29th of March. It's at the Baxter Theatre Flipside. Bookings are through web tickets, and tickets are 270 Rand each. The show is about 75 minutes long. There's no interval. It is really a unique experience. It's an immersive experience. Viewers come in, they're part of the performance, they impact how the performance actually ends. So there's like a real choice they also have to make during the performance. We encourage Cape Town to come out and experience it, because it's something quite different.
And that is quite very unique, and great that you are doing that, you're including your audience into your production as well. And like you said, there's also a matinee show taking place, and the age restriction is 13, I think, if I'm correct.
Yes, that's correct.
Awesome stuff. So, Louise, are there any additional words in closing you would like to leave us with?
Yeah, just encouraging our audiences to come out and have a look. Autoplay has got so many different elements. So even if viewers feel they're not maybe fans of dance, generally there is such an interesting sound score, there's such incredible singing in the piece, there's such beautiful live art that happens during the performance, that you will find something to enjoy within it, I think. So hopefully we see you there.
Definitely. So thank you very much, Louise, for sharing these insights into Autoplay and also your artistic process that went into it. So like you've mentioned, this production clearly represents a significant milestone, not just for the Darkroom Contemporary, but also for performers art across Africa. And by merging dance, opera, and also artificial intelligence, you're inviting audience to confront important questions about technology's role in our lives while experiencing something genuinely innovative. So Autoplay will be at the Baxter Theatre Flipside from the 26th up until the 29th of March, with performances at 7:30 and also a matinee performance on the 29th at 2 p.m. and tickets range from 240 to 270 and are available through web ticket. That's correct?
Correct, yes.
Awesome stuff. So thank you very much, Louise. Have an awesome day further. Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye.
And that is why we encourage you to experience this unique fusion of human expression and machine intelligence for yourselves, and give